Hey folks, I said I wasn't going to do too much talking about Trump, but I figured that I have to, there you go, man. I have to talk about this. Back in 1982, this is a little bit of story time. Back in 1982, January 14th in particular, we had a winter storm that came through the area, the DMV, and I remember it vividly because at that time, my track team at my high school, we were getting ourselves in shape for the upcoming season. And we weren't outside actually training that day. We were training inside of the engineering building at where my high school was, Polytechnic in Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. And we were running inside the school, up and down the steps. I think it was like 3 or 4 floors in that school, in that building. And we'd run down the halls. I'll never forget it because it was, it's humid, it's warm. You got all these, warm bodies running there. It just got the humidity. I'll never forget that. And I remember coming home that evening, and it was nasty. It was nasty. And I got in the house, turned on the television, and they had the live reporting from Washington, D.C. An airplane had crashed into the bridge in D.C. down near the Pentagon, Potomac. And I was like, wow. And I'm young, 1982, so teenager. And I'm horrified because I love airplanes. I mean, since I was little, and always wanted to be a pilot. And well, I guess I don't want to say most kids, but a lot of kids have that fascination with airplanes because it is pretty fascinating. I'm still like that even to this day. And I'll never forget it. Because Schnucknick, I can't remember his name exactly. Someone correct me. Schnucknick. This guy jumped into the freezer. First of all, there was chunks of ice and snow in the Potomac, and the ground was covered with snow. And he jumped into the Potomac to save a woman who was clinging to, I think it was a life. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she was clinging to it, and her hands got, she's freezing, and she just couldn't hold strength, and she couldn't hold on anymore. And he jumped into that river and swam out there and got her and brought her back. Of course, instant hero. Now I'm saying all that to say, back then, the president was Ronald Reagan. Okay? And it turned out that Ronald Reagan had fired 11,000 air traffic controllers 6 months into his office. And then this happened. But you know what? This story is about decency. Even though everybody could have blamed Ronald Reagan for that tragic accident, they didn't. And he had the decency enough to come in front of the television, in front of the country, and give his condolences and express sorrow. But you know what makes this tragedy to happen the other night? And I didn't even know about it until yesterday. I didn't have the TV on all day. So I found out about it late. And I'm right here. I'm in the DMV. I'm in Maryland. And I was hearing it on TikTok, but I thought they were talking about something else. Something, I just heard, this is what I was hearing. Plane and helicopter collide. And I heard Hex's name, but I wasn't putting anything together. I was kind of busy. And then when I found out that it was right here at the Potomac again, so get this. Trump gets in front of the camera and says that the reason, now keep in mind, you've got the NTSB. These folks, sometimes it takes them a whole year, if not longer, to find out the root cause of why accidents happen, aircraft crash in the world. They go all over the world. This guy gets in front of the camera and says he knows the reason why. And it's because of DEI hires under Joe Biden and Barack Obama's presidencies that caused that. But he wouldn't say who. He wouldn't say whether it was the pilots of the helicopter, the pilots of the airplanes, or the air traffic controller. It could have been any of them. But the mere fact that he blamed it on DEI hires, so I always have to go here. For anybody that voted for that man, I have no respect for you. Whether I've known you, don't know you yet, I have no respect for you. Because you knew full well of the character of that dude from the first time he came around. You knew. And then even got more evidence of his character before you voted again for this guy, because of all the other stuff that he's done. But to say that, to bring politics into such a tragedy, and don't say anything about the folks involved, the family, nothing. All y'all and him should be ashamed of yourselves. I said it. No decency.